Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called 15 Minutes From Now. I work in what is apparently the sole source of food in this town. We have lines out the door regularly. Recently we had an upsurge in remote orders, and people have been stepping out of the line and saying, "I am already here, give me my sandwich." We know why they are doing this. They think they will skip the line this way. What this actually does is gum up the line for everyone else, since they want us to drop what we are doing and make their food because I am already here and I'm too important to wait in line. But placing a remote order requires you to say it will be for at least 15 to 20 minutes later. So the next food inning we hear the remote order alert going off the hook. As a thank you, here come the junior Karens of America who say the usual line, "I am already here, just make the food." Well, we tell them, "Hold on, it says you will pick this up at 11:30. It's 11 now, we will have this ready in 30 minutes. Our second line forms of people who think they have beaten the system, only to find that now we are enforcing pickup times. And some of these people find out that they end up waiting longer. Now they are getting in other people's way, causing them to miss their pickup times by a whole minute, because they have to step over each other to get to the pickup section. Hey, that's when you ordered it to be picked up." The next story is called "We Are Responsive." My job involves the development of custom web applications for large customers. On one specific project, the software is quite stable and mature. So for a number of years, we've been in a pattern of pushing major version updates only 4 times a year. For smaller changes in between major releases, we would release hotfixes. In reality, they were mostly usability tweaks and small features requested by the customer. The software was quite stable, so actual bug fixes were pretty rare, but they were still called hotfixes for historical reasons. Our turnaround time on these was 2 weeks from the requirement to release, so basically nearly immediate. They were numbered consecutively, starting with 0.1 and going as high as 0.6. The system worked great and the customer was happy, until our longtime product manager on the customer side retired. A new product manager, let's call him Reggie, took over, and he immediately started finding fault. Why were we so sluggish and unresponsive as to go 3 whole months between major releases? His often cited fanboy other companies included one that makes electric cars and another that makes user-friendly computers and smartphones. Why couldn't we be agile like that? And why was our software so unstable that we were constantly having to put out hotfixes? The last major version has needed 6 hotfixes. Why couldn't we test our crap and get it right the first time, instead of dumping off a half-finished mess on the customer and then patching up the damage on their time? And on and on. We tried to explain that the software was mature and no longer changing at a rate that would require frequent major versions. And that the so-called hotfixes were actually mostly requested features and, in fact, showed that we were agile and responsive. No dice. He started referring to our account manager as Dr. Fixenstein. He demanded that we begin a monthly release cycle to be agile and enter the 21st century, and that we finish our software before releasing. No more hotfixes. You can probably see where this is going. Suddenly, the things we used to call hotfixes were rebranded as major releases, and instead of a 2-week cycle, we started doing them only once a month. Everyone on our team was happier, because it meant the number of late-night deployment windows was cut in half, and it turned out Reggie was ecstatic. From constantly finding fault, he became our biggest fan. It has been nearly 3 years now, and he still likes to tell the story about how we immediately responded to this constructive criticism and retooled our whole process for him. We even use him as a reference now when we are bidding out other work. No one at the customer has ever put it together that the only real change in response to his feedback was that fulfillment of new feature requests now takes twice as long as it used to. The third story is called "No One Else Is Here." My first job out of college was as a manager at a regional hardware store where people save big money. We had just opened a new store that had 2 stories. It was stressful, and I had an assistant store manager who flew off the handle a lot when he was stressed, which at this store happened a lot. One night we were closing. I was a manager in the cashier/returns area, front end. Usually it was the front-end manager and store manager who were the last to leave. It had been a rough day for both of us, but we were finally ready to lock up and leave. I thought I heard a noise from upstairs. I mentioned it to Bob. He said there wasn't one. When I said, "I really think I did," his voice showed annoyance. "No, you didn't." I knew our third time would be full of screaming, so I decided to maliciously comply and just said, "Okay." He set the motion sensor alarms, locked the door, and we said our goodbyes. The next day I found out the plumbing manager was still there and his movement set off the alarm. He just sat at the break area as there was really nothing he could do. Security showed up, and after 90 minutes he was finally able to clock out and go home. To Bob's credit, he told corporate that I said I thought I heard something from upstairs and he shut it down twice. The plumber manager was cool too. I got paid overtime to look at my phone. I was going to do that anyway. The last story is called Not Our Fault. This happened last night, but the results played out this morning. I was parked at our yard in Dallas and didn't feel like walking a mile to go get food. So I ordered a pizza to be delivered to our yard so I could snack it from the guard shack and munch away. Placed the order online and paid, and was informed that it would be about 55 minutes for delivery. Okay, cool, no big deal. I can relax and wait for the call that the food has arrived. I even confirmed with the store about the address and made sure that they called me or had the guard call me when they got there, to which the lady told me it was cool. Fast forward to 10:05. I get a text telling me that the delivery was passed off to DoorDash and they would be there in a few minutes. Okay, not who I anticipated, but alright. 10:15 rolls around and I get another text telling me that they couldn't find the address, so they were taking it back to the store. Not cool. I called the store and asked for the manager. She started off rude and stayed there. "Sir, our delivery driver couldn't find your location, so we had her bring it back to our store. You need to provide a better address." "Excuse me, ma'am, but when I spoke to our manager around 8:45, I was assured that the driver could find this location. I was even assured that the driver would call me should any issues arise. Now, since I'm out on getting food, can I get another driver to deliver it or get a refund? We are about to close for the evening. It's not our fault that we can't find where you are located. You should have given the address clearer. As for a refund, I'm afraid we can't do that as we attempted delivery and it was unsuccessful. If you want, you can call corporate and take the issue up with them. Good luck." And with that, she hung up on me. The snarky undertones came through loud and clear. Oh, it is on. I called the corporate office and while on the phone with them, I left a scathing 1-star review on their page. The corporate lady was the complete opposite of the snarky manager at the restaurant. She assured me that it will be dealt with and that she will get to the bottom of things. Fast forward to this morning. I get a call from that same store. It was a manager that came in to see my scathing 1-star review on their page. And also an email from corporate demanding the manager from last night lose her job. And that I, the customer screwed over, get a full refund issued immediately. The lady did lose her job. I got the full refund, plus an additional $40 in coupons. And I was told that if I order from that location again, they will see to it that my instructions are followed precisely and not passed off to someone else. Never mess with a driver and his food, or bad things happen. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and would like to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.